You know, there's a lot of information going around about Bob Iger this week based upon his new memoir that he wrote while he's still head of Disney. You know, he's got 2 years left on his contract, but the dude cranked out an autobiography talking about being the CEO of Disney for 15 years. Seems like he's getting a little bit ahead of himself in regards to everything, but he did drop a couple interesting tidbits. We did talk about the betrayal of George Lucas the other day. That was a pretty big one. The snippets coming out of that were fascinating because it really did seem like they kind of let him on. And Iger takes a little bit of responsibility for that, but still, it doesn't make him look good. It doesn't make him look good at all. And I think he put it in there maybe as a bit of a public way of saying he's sorry to George for how they treated him by owning up to it in a book that only, you know, hardcore Disney files and nerds are going to read. But there's one other thing apparently in there that I found to be interesting. And that, of course, is this little tidbit here about trying to get diversity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe and how Bob Iger went to bat to get it. Now, a lot of people out there don't like Black Panther, and there's a lot of people here on YouTube who don't like Captain Marvel. But as I find both films to be just okay. I like Black Panther more than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel kind of felt to me, but whatever. I still appreciate that they exist, and I do like to see more diverse stories coming out of Hollywood. I feel we do get a lot of cut and paste these days, and I'm cool to see kind of whatever as long as it's good. So let's find out more about this here, right? So it says that Marvel Entertainment put up roadblocks in order to stop Black Panther and Captain Marvel from getting made, says Bob Iger. Now, what you need to understand about this right off the bat is Marvel Entertainment is kind of the parent company of Marvel Studios. So Marvel Studios run by Kevin Feige, not Marvel Entertainment, which is run by Ike Perlmutter. And if you've ever learned about the history of Ike Perlmutter and the history of Kevin Feige and how it all played out with Captain America Civil War, my God, it's insane. Now, the Disney CEO has written about his last 15 years in charge of the Walt Disney Company, and in it, he discusses the issues faced after the purchase of the comic book company. According to Iger, he had to put his foot down to ensure that diversity was taken into account for future Marvel movies, saying, "I've been in this business long enough to have heard every old argument in the book," he writes. "And I learned that old arguments are just that, old and out of step with where the world is and where it should be." And the thing is, from 1979 to 1999, our world population doubled. You probably didn't know that. Seriously, 3.5 billion people existed in 1979. By the time we were all worried about Y2K, nearly 7 billion people. Or I think it was 3 billion people and then up to 6 billion people. Now it's at 7.5 billion people. The point I'm trying to get to here is ultimately, there's a lot of damn people. And not everyone is going to be a certain color or a certain gender designation or whatever. So there's always going to be moves for wider, broader storytelling. And I think Iger gets that. And as we've seen, there's been some movies that have made some serious dough. But you do have some old school fuddy-duddies who want to make sure that that never actually happens, which is kind of where Ike Perlmutter comes into the mix. So he goes on to say here, "We had a chance to make a great movie and to showcase an underrepresented segment of America, and those goals were not mutually exclusive. I called Ike Perlmutter and told him to tell his team to stop putting up roadblocks and ordered that we put both Black Panther and Captain Marvel into production." And when you get a call from your boss, probably, arguably, the most powerful man in entertainment, I don't think there's any other way to describe Iger. They own 2 major motion picture studios, a swath of television channels, a whole other amount of companies. And I mean, this dude is powerful. When he calls you up and he's just like, no matter how much of a racist fuddy-duddy you are, because that's kind of what Perlmutter is, got him on it. And I love this here. It says, Ike Perlmutter has been involved with Marvel Comics since 1993. He became CEO of Marvel Comics in 2005 and remained CEO of Marvel Entertainment until after Disney acquired the company in 2009. In 2015, Perlmutter stopped overseeing Marvel Studios to allow Kevin Feige to report directly to Disney chairman Alan Horn. And the thing is, this is true. This is all true. This is not something a lot of people talk about. And if you notice, there was a shift in the Marvel Cinematic Universe around 2015 to where we are now. We would not have what we have now. We would have not gotten an Endgame under Ike Perlmutter. Trust me. Now it says here, this was due to Feige's frustration with Marvel Entertainment boss over issues like the one described by Iger. Perlmutter, a longtime friend of Donald Trump, has been involved in several lawsuits over the years, including the one where he was named. A former NYPD sergeant testified under oath that he helped renew his firearm carry license in exchange for tickets to the Marvel movie premieres in Los Angeles. So that's great. Guy who runs a Marvel Entertainment got his gun license expedited by hooking up a cop with some tickets to a movie. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have much of an issue with that, to be honest with you. I mean, this definitely needs to be reported, but at the same time, it's like, okay. I think I would probably do the same thing. I'm just saying, I'm going to be honest with you guys. But Perlmutter is a notorious spendthrift. I mean, he was the hang-up trying to keep Robert Downey Jr. out of Civil War. Imagine that. Imagine if that deal never took place. Imagine if he stepped in and stopped Spider-Man from coming over to the MCU because he didn't like the terms of the agreement. Where Feige, as the visionary that Feige is, totally gets it, totally understands it, right? That's exactly where we find ourselves with this story. So as bad as Bob Iger is when it comes to Star Wars, I give him credit here, where he realized that there was money to be made. And let's be fair here, 1.3 billion for Black Panther, 1.12 billion for Captain Marvel. He pushed them through. And so he trusted Feige enough to run the show. So at least there's that. And that's one of the reasons why I really do like the power dynamic at Disney and Marvel over this, like giving the creatives the freedom to be creative and to bring in these new characters. It's one of the reasons why, like, I'm actually, the more I think about it, the more excited I'm getting for whatever they're going to be doing on Phase 4, just to see the different things. And I think that's Feige. And that is, I think, somewhat nurtured by Bob Iger and by Alan Horn, by saying, look, you clearly know how to make us money. You clearly know how to make us profitable. Keep doing you, boo. Keep doing you. You know, well, we like the money. We like to make the cash. And then that's kind of where they find themselves. So at the end of the day, Iger is the hero of this particular story, and that is great. Now, if only he'd own up to George Lucas and bring him in for a nice kombucha and an apology, and I think that would be better too. And let him come in to work on Star Wars again, because I think he kind of wants to. Anyway, your thoughts, your opinions on this, let me know down in the comments below. Do you think this is good, bad, the other? I want to hear them. Like the video if you guys made it this far. Dislike it if you want to. That's cool too. Type Iger in the chat if you made it. But either way, comment. Specifically you, comment. Let me know. And if you like what I do and you want to support the channel, check out patreon.com/Matt Jarbo. It's a great way to help things out, especially because everything on YouTube has kind of gone to hell right now. I'll talk to you all later. Have yourself a great day, and peace out.